Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
The summation of the pre-show gold is wear your protective gear. Respirators and
take
goggles,
that any way you want,
everybody.
people. Just
Yeah.
Well,
In all
That's true,
circumstances that require protective gear, use the
wear
appropriate
it.
gear.
But if you're painting anything, wear a respirator.
Especially
Or
in
sanding.
unventilated areas.
Sanding, too. If you're sanding, say, acrylic, respirator.
I've also recently discovered, thankfully not by my own fault, but apparently if you're building models and using resin pieces, if you're cutting the resin, like that resin dust is apparently very, very bad for you. So
Jesus. All right. If you need a respirator, check out the regularjoespodcast.com for all your respirator needs. No, don't, because we don't have them.
yeah, we don't sell those, but
But get them.
we
You
actually
need them.
don't own the regularjoespodcast.com. So, no, we don't.
no, we don't.
Regularjoes.com.
We have regularjoes.com,
We
no?
should make that.
It's not
we should
there
do that.
either.
We should make it into a retail, since it's got so much dust on it now. We should make it into a retail site and for things like respirators. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, all the
pickleball
things, all the
rackets.
products we recommend.
So,
Yeah. We should have a Amazon link, Amazon affiliate link. Everybody
yeah,
does
we
that.
tried. We
And
tried
then we
that
could do
once.
it like
Yeah.
the OnlyFans girls. We can put our wish lists on and see if our listeners will buy us
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy, this went downhill fast.
All right, here's what we're doing today, and that's something a little different. Did we say what it was? I don't think
No,
we did.
we
We
did
said it was
not.
different, but Barry came up with this good idea. So with all the Avengers stuff and the new Captain America out and all these, at least Doomsday and Secret Wars, we're like,
Well, and the fact that in Brave New World, Bucky literally says he wants to put the Avengers back together. So
yes. So Barry's idea was for us to come up with our Avengers lineup using who's still alive and in theory available.
and not from a multiverse.
And best point. That's the best point. Not I was going to say Captain Fantastic. So no Elton John and no Mr. Fantastic or
Correct.
Wolverine, because Wolverine is still
No.
Where's Deadpool?
He's not.
Nope.
He's not in 616 universe.
I didn't use either one of them, but they're in
Yeah.
a different universe.
Yes.
That's the thing, and we'll get to that in a few. But wear your respirator. Okay. Let's go some random. I don't know if there was a ton, but
I got a couple things.
I'm not exposed to as much.
I
You
got a
have
couple
what?
things. A couple quick things.
Go
I
ahead.
have one or two also.
So, on the subject of multiverses, okay? If you think every infinite possibility spawns a different multiverse, I read an article today on who was considered for casting for Dr. Crusher before they chose Gates McFadden for Star Trek The Next Generation. And there was one name that jumped out at me that I thought was really, really interesting. Somewhere out there is a forked universe where Jenny Agutter is Dr. Crusher.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And one of the reasons that they supposedly didn't go with her is the cast would have leaned too heavy British because they had already cast Patrick Stewart and Marina Sirtis.
So
That's
this
really
is
interesting.
Now, she was in the first season. Dr. Pulaski was in the
Right.
second season. Why did she leave?
No, she was. They recast her because they didn't feel, according to everything said, they didn't feel, and particularly the book that we read, there wasn't chemistry between her and Patrick Stewart, and they wanted, and when that didn't work, they wanted kind of an antagonist for him because they wanted some sort of thing there to play off, and so they went with they thought going with Dr. Pulaski, they were going for like a Bones kind of thing, whereas the crusty whatever,
And when that,
and
didn't,
that didn't
work at all,
and
they went
they
back,
reverted back,
to
yeah.
her. I wonder if she stuck it to him.
yeah.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Jenny Agutter, as much as I like her, I wonder how she would have been in that role.
I think she would have been awesome.
I almost hate to say it this way. I think she might have been too attractive for that role.
no, Gates McFadden
Was really,
good looking.
attractive at the time. I actually think she probably would have gelled with Patrick Stewart more I think they would have had that.
Just think of the sonic shower
That's
alone.
right. Yeah, think about that. Now I'm going to have a hard time getting that out
I
of my
would have
head.
liked to seen 80s Jenny Allgooder.
Seriously.
Something. Nice.
Not that far removed from American Werewolf era. I'd have been all over that.
Was it about 10 years later? That would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Not even that long.
What year was American Werewolf?
American
80.
Werewolf was what,
80?
80, right?
79.
All right, so it was 8 or 9 years.
81. It's 81.
Star Trek
So
started in 87.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No.
really? I thought it was 88.
No. It's too bad there's not a source we could look this up in. Anyway,
Yeah, I know.
so
If only
my
we could-
other thing, also Star Trek, was they have started filming Strange New Worlds season 4.
And we haven't gotten
And we
three
have
yet.
not gotten 3 yet. But anytime that I hear they're starting a new season of Strange New Worlds, it makes me happy inside. Eventually, Paramount will give us the season. And if, in 6 months they tell us they're filming season 5, I'm good with that too. So,
Well, it
long
also
as he
tells
got
us
them.
they feel strongly enough about it that they're
just keep it
allowing
going.
another
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're right. It was 87. I just looked it up.
They also mentioned that there's a couple of actors who were cast to play new versions of legacy characters. So that will be interesting. So
in
Strange New Worlds.
in
Yeah.
In
don't
season
need legacy
4,
characters.
or are we going to see new ones in season 3?
Not sure about that. I think in season 3 we're
okay.
going to see the guy we're going to see Chapel's ex-fiance or whatever. I think they recast him already. And then so we will see. I also read
right. Well-
an interesting. Sorry, I wasn't going to mention this, but I read an interesting article today, which won't go anywhere. But this person proposed. They were talking about all the things that have done with Star Trek, but the stories have never been told. He said, we're creeping into the point where the actors, the replacement actors, are old enough that they could film, because like Paul Wesley's in his 40s and Ethan Peck's 38, okay, that they could actually film the second 5-year mission, which we've never seen. So there was supposed to be 2 5-year missions before the motion picture.
It would have to be a whole nother series.
They could actually do another, essentially jump into a semi-refitted Enterprise for the next 5-year mission. So could be interesting because they've got, again, you got Uhura, you got Scotty.
I don't need to see most of those people in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, but
Do
they
it
already.
someplace
I mean,
else.
again, you've got Uhura, Scotty, Spock, Kirk, and there's not that many more people they'd have to recast.
Yeah. I don't need any more Kirk. I mean,
I do feel like as
crutch.
interesting as that sounds, I would still prefer that we get new stories with new characters and not feel like they're
Oh
treading
yeah, no.
over-
Again, I said they weren't going to do it. It was just an
Yeah,
interesting idea because, like I said, it is an area that, other than like novels and stuff, is just wide open. So, yep.
Interesting. Barry, what do you got?
So I'm going to keep it on the Star Trek theme. And I don't remember hearing this, but apparently they first announced this in 2022 that Paramount was going to do an audio series, a scripted audio series on Khan. And I don't remember hearing that a couple of years ago, but apparently now they've cast Naveen Andrews in the title role, and he was on Lost. And they've also cast Ren Schmidt. I don't know if that name sounds familiar to you guys, but
She's from
Margot from For All Mankind.
Yeah.
She's going to play Marla McGivers.
Oh, interesting.
And they said it's a story about how Khan goes from a tyrant and superhuman visionary to the monster that we all know so well. So, I mean, that's not that big of a jump.
So it's after Space Seed or before?
I guess it's got to be
Oh,
after
it's
Space
in
Seed.
between.
Yeah, 'cause
It's in
Marla
between
wouldn't be
Space
there.
Seed
Yeah,
and
it's
Wrath of
what
Khan.
happens after Space Seed and before Wrath of Khan.
There's going to be a lot of shit crawling to
interesting.
people's ears. That's all I got to say. It's going to be endless scenes of that. Fortunately, it's audio.
Yeah. So they're saying it's going to be, everything leading up to Wrath of Khan and that they're going to announce additional casting later this year. And it's going to be available on all major podcast
I
platforms.
just saw
So it's
him.
It's funny. It's a podcast.
I can't think of what it is.
Yeah.
I just saw him in something, and I was thinking of because I had not seen him What the hell? He was a total jerk.
I've seen him show up in something.
He was
I don't
just
remember
in
what it
something.
was.
And
But it's decent. I mean, from voice casting, it's probably good voice casting.
I don't remember what he sounds like, to be honest with you. I don't feel like he's as commanding as Ricardo Montalban.
Who
I
could
think he
possibly
could be. I think he could be. But we'll see. I mean, interesting that they're doing basically a scripted audio, which is basically a podcast, but it's a scripted podcast.
Oh, he was in The Cleaning Lady. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
You sure he wasn't the cleaning
No, he
lady?
was in The Cleaning Lady.
It's been lean since Lost.
He was yeah.
Sorry, Naveen, that's a joke. There's a ton of talk, about Avengers. I guess whether this came from one interview, but there's a ton of posts about Doomsday. There's art of what Doctor Doom will look like. There's articles about Robert Downey Jr. and how he's crafting the role. There's talk about how Spider-Man 4 will be a direct sequel to Doomsday.
Yep.
Isn't it weird that Fantastic Four hasn't even come out yet and all this stuff about Doomsday? I mean, and my son told me that there was a lot of production art that got leaked, which I'm not going looking for any of that.
So have you guys looked at the IMDb for Doomsday? This is the cast, okay? Vanessa Kirby is Sue Storm. Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards. Anthony Mackie is Sam Wilson. Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. Robert Downey Jr. is Victor Von Doom. Eben Moss-Beric as Ben Grimm. Wyatt Russell as John Walker. And, wait for it, Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. What?
That's all over the place.
That could be based on speculation. And also, IMDb is sometimes user-generated.
Right.
Too.
It's just...
How far away are we from this movie? They're not filming it yet, right?
May 2026. No. Right?
You're in a bit.
It's supposed to be May 2026. So,
they also mentioned one article.
Is it 1962 Peggy Carter? Right?
No, they're going to come
No, but I'm saying, but I'm saying, is Peggy Carter somewhere in the,
Unless there's a flashback.
That's what I'm saying,
you're right.
Yeah.
The internet says May 1st, 2026.
There was one article that said it looks like it may get pushed back because they can't figure out what they're doing. They can't figure out who's going to be in it. So I don't put much credence to that, but...
If they haven't filmed it yet, it can't be coming out in a year. Like, come on. It can't be. It's a year of post-production on those movies usually.
Even the Russo brothers are giving interviews, and again, they have this Electric State thing coming out, so maybe this is based on an interview with them, but
I don't see how they could do a movie on that scale if they haven't even gone before camera yet and have it out in a year and 2 months.
I'm just still hung up on Robert. I could remember how Patty Jenkins did an amazing job in Wonder Woman, and then just was horrible Wonder Woman 84. Now, granted, the Russo brothers have done amazing jobs in like 4 movies. Could they just totally jump the shark? And are they just like so up Robert Downey Jr.'s ass that they just are doing something that's going to fuck up everything?
Also, but they're not being given autonomy.
I've said this before, too, is the Russo brothers burned the Marvel Universe to the ground when they left. They left nothing to rebuild from. And we've seen that for years now. Okay? So,
I know.
But knowing that, Feige welcomed them back with open arms.
I know that because
why would he do that if they didn't have anything to
hopefully
plan?
They do, but I'm saying
I don't know.
It's they took 5 years to build the Avengers. Okay, to put the characters together to assemble the Avengers. In the 5 years we've had, they have not rebuilt this team at all, and supposedly they're going to have an Avengers movie. We'll see. We'll see when this comes up as our topic. But again, I'm dubious of this.
But
I really am. I'm
part of me. There's almost nothing you could show me, and I know we talk about this almost every episode, but it's out there. There's a lot out there right now about Doctor Doom and what he looks like, and Robert Downey Jr. was. There's almost nothing they can do that's going to show to me personally that it's a good idea that he's Doctor Doom. The minimum screwing it up is him just being an actor who plays a part and has nothing to do with anything else. Anything beyond that is damage.
Here's the thing. Did they hire him to be the Mandalorian? Okay. He's never going to step out of that suit. Okay. You're never going to see his face. All you're going to do is have the voice. He can basically record his lines at home and send them in and cash a check. Okay.
Just to attach his
name to it for buzz.
I don't think so.
Because I'm saying,
he's in this.
They excessively took his helmet off as Iron Man. It's the stupidest points they took his helmet off as Iron Man because they wanted to show the actor. How are we going to take this actor, bring him into this, and say, oh, we're never going to show him? Or if when they're going to show him, everyone's just going to be like, kind of looks familiar. I just don't know why. It's weird.
It's just a bad idea.
Unless it's not, and there's just something up their sleeve that we're going to look at and go, okay, I get it, but it's hard to see what that could be.
Hey, I in the 4 movies they did, I don't love Civil War as much as the others, but there's not. But
I enjoyed all their work in the MCU, and I've enjoyed most of what they've done post MCU for other studios. So, I'm willing to give them a chance.
There is no one else
War,
I would,
and I think
give this chance.
Everything they've done was great. But like I said, at the end of that last movie, they left nothing to rebuild with, and.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully there's something to rebuild with. Otherwise, we have no topic for later.
I don't know why, and maybe this is why didn't they, and did they try to do it, and why didn't they just sort of start over, introduce new characters, build them the way they did, and then launch them?
This is what I'm saying.
Did they do that, or did it get too muddy?
They tried. It didn't work.
Not the way they did.
You can make the case that this entire universe, the entire next phase, whatever it is, because I can't keep them straight anymore, okay, was totally knocked back by losing Black Panther, okay? And that they were going to basically build that phase around him, okay, and have him ascend and lead an Avengers team, but they had a lot of time to recover.
But there was a lot of lackluster stuff that happened that was already planned without Black Panther.
Quantumania, Love and Thunder. I mean, you took well-liked, established characters
but
and
both of those
them
movies were wheel spinners. They were placeholders. They didn't have any mission whatsoever. They weren't like Guardians 3, which was closing out the chapter. Neither of those things had anything to do other than set up a future storyline in Quantumania and Badly. And then Love and Thunder was just like, oh, it's time to do a Thor movie.
Let's just have fun. They should have been establishing new characters.
They should absolutely have been bringing in new characters.
Well, and they also tried to establish new characters in television, and that didn't really work.
Or it did. I mean, I think there's some decent characters out there that they haven't done anything with.
When I talk about Echo,
anybody watch
when I
Echo?
talk about Echo as my team leader,
right? I never
Echo's
finished
my
it.
team leader.
You're the only one I know that finished it.
And you'll never find me saying I'm glad I did, but yes, I finished it. Yeah.
The first episode was unwatchable, and I couldn't watch it anymore.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't want to dwell on it, but there's for me, there's been an awful lot of missteps, and they've tried introducing characters, and they've introduced characters in other movies, and none of them have been breakout stuff. Like, oh my god, that's who. Other than maybe
like
in the Hawkeye show, I feel like
Kate Bishop,
yeah, but
But part of me feels like they were saying to them, we can't go back to the same well of establish Captain America, establish Thor, establish Hulk. Yeah, you could. I think they tried to stay away from doing the same thing, and you could have done that. You could have done a Kate Bishop movie. You could have done a whoever. I
don't want to besmirch the Sacred Moon Knight, but even that was, I liked the show, but he's not a character that I can see
he's not
using
a team
as a
character.
launching point.
They have shoehorned
that's my
him
point
into.
We're going to talk more about this later.
Shoehorned him into a couple of teams over the years, and he kind of stands to the back and doesn't talk, and that's it's yeah. So, yeah.
All right, more on this later. Barry, do you have any more random?
Yeah, two very quick things. One, apparently Sean Levy's yet to be officially announced Star Wars movie is going to take place 5 to 6 years after Rise of Skywalker. So either it's going to be a Rey movie or it's not, and it's going to be weird that it's 5 or 6 years after Rise of Skywalker and there's no reference to, Rey, Poe, or Finn. So let's see. They haven't even officially announced it yet, but apparently he's talking about it out there. So, and then the other thing I wanted to just quickly say, so James Gunn is saying that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is midway through production.
Okay.
So, and that is the next theatrical release coming after Superman. I don't think I connected those dots that we're getting Superman, and then the next movie in theaters is Supergirl. It's a lot of super.
Interesting.
It's a lot of super.
That's good. It's okay.
They've been releasing some pictures of Millie Alcock. I think that's her name. In the suit.
Have they?
Oh, they have. I haven't seen.
I don't know.
I
don't know if I trust it. Did you see something just recently?
I saw something today, but maybe it's a mock-up.
Most of those are mock-ups. The only official picture I've seen was her sitting in the chair, like the director's chair, with her name and Supergirl on the back of it.
I hope what I saw wasn't official, to be quite honest, because I honestly didn't think that she looked.
No,
good
that's
as
not
Supergirl,
official.
But
it's not official, and she got really big hair in that picture. Anyways,
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of AI photos out there, and they just keep popping up.
That might be what it was.
And I think they're being really tight with this.
I just don't know why they're doing Supergirl right on the heels of Superman, like with so many DC characters that they could be working with.
I think there's gonna be a tie-in. I also think that they've got to rebuild this universe, and that's a natural offshoot of that. Whereas they don't.
Batman's off the table.
Batman is off the table right now.
Well, they have Brave and the Bold, but that's not coming.
It's not coming right now.
Too soon.
They've got. I think it's a thing that doesn't require a whole lot of explanation, and if they get momentum, it's a good place to go.
She'll have a cameo in this for sure.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what do I got? All right, here's a public service announcement. Barry, did you mention this or you mentioned it to us? I'm not sure. So apparently there is an app that has the original Star Wars available. Did you talk about that?
I did not. I did read this today, but I didn't. I've never.
I thought we talked about it, but I don't know. Maybe I listened to it on a podcast. Anyway, so everyone, you go anywhere except for VHS, which I still have, or Laserdisc. You can't see the original Star Wars. It's only
It was released on DVD as bonus discs on the very first DVD release of Star Wars.
There you go.
That's it.
Other than that. So all you're getting is the enhanced. And I think.
And those are the Laserdisc transfers anyway. So
I think we can all agree that that's the movie that had the most damage done to it by the special editions because there's a lot. Anyway, so there's this app that you can get only on Roku called Cinema Box that is streaming the original Star Wars. Whether they may or may not get it taken down.
I don't think they're doing it legally is my gut instinct.
Yeah, but if you don't have access to another, there is this compilation, I guess, bootleg DVD that some of us may or may not have that has been talked about a lot and compiled from all different sources that we have, which is awesome.
The despecialized.
Some of us may have rented a theater and watched it on a big screen once, and it's pretty amazing.
Yes, but no one can admit to that. So anyway, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's worth seeing if you can get it.
Yep.
I have Roku, but I don't know anything about Cinema Box. I'll check that out. Last thing is This is not about anything. There's a movie called Eden coming out. All I'm saying is Anna de Armas and Sydney Sweeney. Could be interesting.
Something for everyone.
You just sold a ticket.
Directed by Ron Howard. There you go. How about that?
You know, that actually makes it less interesting because I don't think he'll.
It won't be.
It won't be as sexy as I want it to be.
It's true.
Directed by.
Grandpa's directing the movie.
Franco. Who? I don't know any male porn stars directors. Who was that? Ron Jeremy. Directed by Ron Jeremy.
Oh God, no.
He's not in it though.
That's a vision I won't get out of my head anytime soon.
Exactly. Ron Howard's doing more conventions. I mean, I don't think we've come across him anywhere.
No.
But he did MegaCon, and him and all the guys from Happy Days are doing Steel City Con or something like that.
Cool.
I
Oh,
could be
wow.
wrong.
That's cool.
Interesting. You know, your buddy, what's his face? Kingpin is going to be at Rhode Island.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie Cox is coming too. Has he ever been there when we were there?
No.
I don't think so.
I think he was on briefly and then canceled.
Oh, there you go. Maybe we'll see him.
That would be amazing.
You know who else
if
we
the two
should
of them were there?
See?
It would be utterly amazing.
But D'Onofrio's been there.
Right, yeah.
Hasn't he?
Yep.
I think we.
He's at
yeah,
some
I think he's been there.
He's at a convention in Queens this weekend.
Oh.
Yep.
I think I may know who he's dating.
Okay.
Someone I know claims this neighbor is dating him. And I trust her, so
Interesting.
and lives across the street.
It's time for a summer barbecue and invite the neighbor, Dave.
Not here, it's in Long Island.
Well, okay. Well, who do we know that lives on Long Island?
So well, yeah, I don't know who this neighbor is, but anyway, whatever. You know who I do know? I know Fanboy Collectibles.
That's right.
They're the best.
Check them out. Okay, the long-awaited, by Barry and probably
Yes.
many others, TIE Pilot. Hot Toys doing a version of the TIE Pilot. Barry, I'll let you expound on that.
Yeah, well, they have never done one. They've done a bunch of stormtroopers. They did a Death Star gunner, but they've not done either the TIE Fighter pilot or the the AT-AT driver. So I'm hoping now that they've got the helmet, it's not a too far of a leap for them to get to that. But I'm super excited about this. I know I texted you guys about it. I've been waiting for them to do this character for a really long time. So by the time the show drops, I will have pre-ordered through Fanboy.
It's funny how even the TIE Pilot helmet has only recently come up for auction, like the original one.
Yeah.
It's one of those obscure characters that no one's really seen a ton of.
It's just nice to get a different variation on an Imperial Trooper, because we get so many Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers, but this is something different.
Also, Hot Toys Red Hulk, for all you Brave New World fans. Red Hulk is whatever you say about that movie. If you have the Green Hulk and you have the Red Hulk on the other side of your display case, that's pretty
Throw
awesome.
She-Hulk in between the two of them. I got to say, this figure looks a hell of a lot like Harrison Ford. You look at that
It really
face.
does.
I mean, it's just, you can kind of see Mark Ruffalo and Hawk in Hulk, but boy, it's
Green-
just this is just red Harrison Ford.
Well,
Yeah.
and if you got into Hot Toys collecting a little bit late, you can't touch a Green
No, you
Hulk
can't.
on eBay or anywhere else. So this is an opportunity at least to get a Hulk.
I was kind of
I think
thinking,
it's cool to have if
how awesome would it be to have this figure behind your Indy figure, your Rick Deckard figure, and your Han Solo figure? It's just like,
that would be cool. There's a ton of reasons to get
Yeah.
this, so check that out. It's up for pre-order. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a really cool Zatanna statue. I gotta say, I don't know too much about the character, but Zatanna's always somebody who piques my interest.
That's a good-looking
for different
statue.
reasons. Yeah. And there's Pops, and there's Sideshow, and there's Hasbro, and there's Kotobukias, and there's So-So Toys, and there's, I don't know, who else?
Pops. Did you say Pops?
I said that.
Okay.
There's Iron Studios, and there's everything. Anything you need. Check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. Okay, I won't read the commercial from Dave's Workshop, but as you listen to this podcast, you have to go to the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of podcast, the prop collecting podcast hosted by Ryan Condell and Dave Mandel. I bought commercial time in their podcast.
So you can listen to them talk about Dave's workshop.
You could listen to them. 51 minutes into the episode is my commercial. So I'm a firm believer that advertising works.
Well, and I know you've been busy and you've had a number of cool projects you're working on, but at some point, maybe you can actually share some of the things that you've worked on or that you
I can actually. Yeah. I can tell you what I finished today because I cleared it with my client. I just did a signed Dexter knife. Michael C. Hall signed a knife as Dexter. The guy also had an ID badge, so I built this display with a Dexter knife and an ID badge and a plaque with a acrylic cover. I'll actually post that. He was okay with me posting stuff to social media, so
cool.
I'll put that.
Yeah,
up
that
there.
sounds awesome.
And I'm doing a ton of plaques. I've got a big giant display I'm going to start working on. So it's been busy. It's been happily busy. But if you need a display or plaque for your projects, check out FromDavesWorkshop.com. I said it the right way this time.
Yeah, you got it right.
Not affiliated with Dave Mindell, apparently.
Clearly, he's the other Dave.
Yeah. Yes. So check out FromDavesWorkshop.com. Okay. Here's one of my clients just texted me. No, I did not see that. I'll deal with that later. So we mentioned it before. So right now, there's no Avengers, right? I mean, there's no
Avengers
team.
There's no team, so to speak, right? The heroes are out there and they're doing their thing, but they're not pulled together and working as a team.
Yeah, so we said, let's build the team, thanks to Bucky saying that. And with who's on, you can't say, oh, Captain America. No, he's not. I mean,
right. And we
Steve Rogers is not on the board.
We agreed we would each pick 7 people to put together into our teams. And that, like we said at the beginning, they have to be in our universe. They can't be from a multiverse. They can't be somebody who's too old. They can't be somebody who's not on the board. So if you've gone off to a multiverse or if you're not around anymore, then you're not eligible. So we each put our own team together. How do we want to do this? Do we each want to give our full team and then critique each other, or do we want to go one at a time?
Why don't we go like team leader first? Who are you going to?
Oh, I was going to do that last.
Okay.
Yeah, what is the best way to do that?
Yeah,
it's odd. Usually we work all this out in advance.
I will tell you, I have a person, and then I have my rationale next to them. So,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I have my list of backups, and I have my list of people I
have a couple
would
alternates.
not.
I have alternates too. Yeah.
And I have people I completely ruled out, and I can say why.
Okay. Let's skip that till we get all our lists out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm okay starting with our team captains. We can build off of that if that works.
Yep.
Okay, so Barry, why don't you go first since this is your...
Okay. I debated this with myself quite a bit, and I actually came back to having Sam Wilson as Captain America be the leader of my team because I do feel like while I am more... I don't necessarily see him as Captain America, and we covered that, so I won't go back into that. I do feel like he's got the right sensibility. He's got the right attitude. He is going to take the beliefs that Steve Rogers had, and he's going to follow through with those, but also put his own spin on it. And I was a firm believer in my approach to this was that you need a combination of people with superpowers and people that are just regular people that also have exceptional skills. And, Sam is one of those people. He doesn't have any superpowers, although he could have, right, if he had taken the super soldier serum. But he didn't. So he's relying on technology and his brain.
But he's got the sensibility. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's why I picked Sam.
I didn't have him in my team at all. But what you're saying makes sense. Because the reality of finding that leader who's not. When you really go through the list, you could say to yourself, boy, none of these people, they've all got problems.
So,
Well, that's why Steve was so
Right.
perfect in that spot.
So,
Yeah.
but Steve, in the beauty of the first film was Steve was never in charge until the moment they were on the ground. Okay,
Yeah.
and then he took charge because he was Sam has that military experience. He's got the tactical ability. He's also got recon capabilities. I think he makes a natural field leader. And
Was that your choice too?
he would be my choice also. Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I would
Okay.
have him and be so it's you've got a legacy thing, you've got the handoff, but again, he's got that kind of I put tactical skills and recon abilities, and I also think he could draw people together.
Okay.
Good.
Now, I'm hoping you're not going to say he's not on the board, but I think he is. I don't think he's not dead. I put Hawkeye as the team leader.
Yeah,
Because
he's on the board.
Really, for all the same reasons we said about Sam. He doesn't have superpowers, but if you really think of even on the old team, except for Steve, he's the most grounded of everybody. He's the most level-headed. He's got experience, and he's I think the same as Steve. You
My
don't
only
need a
concerns
superpower.
with him would be he has gone off the rails and been Ronin.
Well,
And
also
also he's had the living shit beat out of him. Okay, so I think he's earned a retirement. I understand,
But he's not
I
retired.
could see him like being the Nick Fury guy. I'd feel bad sending him back into the field at this point.
I think he's somebody who could teach all these
Oh,
people.
I agree. I think he'd be
who are all
a great
lover.
mentor. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what do we want to do next? You want to just mention a person and go around?
We
or do
can
you
just
want to
go
mention
in the same
two at a
order
Yeah.
that we just went.
time?
Just-
Go ahead, Barry.
So, and I don't have these in any specific order, but the next one that I put down on my list is Wong, because I don't want Doctor Strange on my team because I think he's proven to be too unpredictable and he's made some bad choices. But I think you need a Sorcerer Supreme type character, and again, I'm looking for a balance between people with superpowers and abilities versus people who just rely on technology. So I went with Wong.
Did you have a magic-based character?
He is my
Dave.
magic-based
Dave.
character. Oh,
Yes, I do. Do you want
Yeah.
me to go? I have Doctor Strange.
I do too.
And I agree that he is a loose cannon, but that's one of the reasons I have Hawkeye in charge. He'll listen to Hawkeye before he'd listen to Sam Wilson, I think.
But I think about what he did in the Spider-Man movie and how he was so easily convinced to do something that he knew was the wrong thing to do, and then it went really sideways.
He didn't write that movie, but it's. I
Thankfully, he also didn't write.
I know, but I'm just saying
the multiverse.
Yeah, no, that was silly, but I will also say hopefully he's learned from that.
Hopefully.
I also picked him as my magic guy, and I considered Wong. Okay, and I'm going to tell you who my alternate is for that, and it's Loki.
Oof.
Ooh, he's off the board though. He's holding the multiverse together.
See,
I wouldn't pick. Loki.
I'm telling you, I think
I
that
wouldn't
could
pick
be
Loki 'cause I don't
really,
trust
really
him.
interesting. Him being a wild card because he's got that same
be
level
trusted.
of ability, and he's at least mostly reformed at this point. So, anyways, yeah.
No, I
But
see it. I see it, but I think I would
I
be
don't see
too
Loki
worried that
for a second.
that he could easily slip back into his old ways.
Oh, absolutely could.
Again,
absolutely could.
the whole reason the team thing, Doctor Strange doesn't work for me without Hawkeye. Hawkeye's not going to take his BS at all. Sam probably wouldn't either, but I think he's Hawkeye's OG. Sam still
is,
isn't.
But that's why I
So-
went with Wong, because I felt like he has a similar skill set, and powers, but he would be more easier to
He's the Sorcerer
trust.
Supreme by a
but
technicality.
I do agree with Barry. I think Wong, in some ways, would probably be a better team player. But I also think at this point, you need a couple legacy Avengers in there.
But you do need somebody, and again, I don't think Wong's a bad choice, but Wong wouldn't have done what Doctor Strange did, looking at all the 14 million possibilities and blah, blah, and made a really difficult call. Here's what you need, and you need this on any team, even the regular Joe's podcast. You need somebody who is absolutely able to follow orders and listen, but you also need somebody who's going to, at sometimes when they really need to, go off the reservation and do the right thing.
You've got to have somebody who you trust enough to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That they're going to do it in the right circumstances and that you have a pretty good idea that it's going to be a positive outcome.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we've all done
two.
The second round. So
Yep.
Barry, you go again. And I guess we could or could not sort of go off
and you could say what
saying.
Role you kind of envision that person in, and then that's what we'll kind of line up with.
Yeah, okay. So my next one on my list is Bucky. And I picked him because I do feel like I want to start filling in the team with people that have more exceptional powers. And he does have the super soldier serum. He's also been on both sides of, good and bad, but I do feel like he's fully reformed. So I feel like you need some muscle, and you need somebody who has experience, and he's seen it all. So and he's been around. So that's why I picked Bucky. You have anybody?
I'll go because I have Bucky also.
Okay,
for the same reasons. He's super soldier, so he basically is the equivalent of Captain America, strength wise.
Yep.
He's got a ton of experience, and I think where he is now, he's super loyal.
Yep.
You got
Agreed.
somebody who is old school, super strong, and ironically now very loyal to the situation, the team, where he obviously was not before. Just don't talk Russian, speak Russian to him at all.
Bucky almost makes more sense for Barry than for you, because I think he has a loyalty to Sam, and I think he would be a good lieutenant to Sam. But I do not have Bucky.
If anybody that fills that similar
who
role,
defies Hawkeye? Nobody. Hawkeye's old school.
I don't think I have anybody directly in that role, and I've got a So we'll.
So go ahead. You have Echo. Why?
I don't have Echo. Okay, I will say this.
Go ahead. Give us somebody.
So I'll throw one out there that you guys have. So I put Wasp in there. Okay, and
with the long hair.
What's that? Barry would have to
with
approve the hair. But
long hair Wasp.
Okay, and I put her in kind of like an intel role. Okay, because you need someone who's either invisible or very small to do to like scope things out.
That's a good point.
But I also put her in the PR role. I think she'd be a great spokesperson for the team, regardless of who was the commander, because she's got that kind of corporate background and stuff like that. They definitely need PR. They handled a lot of things badly, and as the spokesperson, I think she could really, really good.
I have Maria Hill for that.
Okay, yeah, she's dead.
And I do not accept that she's dead in the worst show in the second worst show they ever made.
Yep.
No.
All right. Well, so Wasp was
Barry,
on my list of alternates.
Okay.
Now, here's why, though.
Yep.
She's all tech, and I think that's the thing. Like, she has no actual powers, right? She's everything that she can do is based off of technology, and that's okay. But she mainly made my backup list because I still love Kate from Lost.
Okay,
and I can't let that go.
Okay, I would say she's also a legacy, second generation legacy hero. She, I did skip over Ant-Man. I kind of feel like we may have had enough.
We'll get there.
So
wait. So Barry, you don't. So
I don't.
Okay,
right. So
and
I'm going to follow up on that because I actually do have Ant-Man on my list.
Okay.
And for a lot of the same reasons that you mentioned, because he has that ability to get super small, he can get super big. I feel like his character, although I really didn't like the third movie at all, he is also somebody who genuinely wants to do the right thing and has the right attitude and would be a super helpful member of the team based on what he can do. He's another one that is 100% dependent on technology. I mean, in the same way Tony Stark,
absolutely,
in a lot of ways, was 100% dependent on technology. But he at least could build his own technology. That's the thing. A lot of these other ones, while they're dependent on the technology, they don't make the technology. So, who's going to make Ant-Man's new suit for him?
Exactly.
Everybody's going to rely on the Wakandans to make him everything.
I have Ant-Man as the alternate for Wasp. I think you can get by with one or the other.
Let me ask you this. You have 7 including your team leader or 7 plus
7 including team leader?
Including.
Okay. Ant-Man's my alternate also. Okay. I do have him as an alternate. For all those reasons.
Yeah.
And again, super loyal. He's not going off the reservation. You cannot say that about everybody.
Yeah. Right.
And you need someone like that. And, well, again, he's an alternate, but he does have a pretty big brain, which we'll get to later. But
and he's an unconventional thinker, and that's also helpful.
So Barry, you had all Ant-Man.
Yep.
Now, Todd, for this round, who do you have?
Oh, I guess I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Ant-Man.
It doesn't
Who's
have
your
to be
next person?
Okay. So to go what Barry was talking about with like dependent on technology. Okay. I'm going to throw one out there that neither of you has. Okay.
Ironheart.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So it's a Tony Stark analog, but who's got mad engineering abilities, which they need. Okay. And can build her own stuff, can build stuff that they need, can come up with, think her way around pretty much anything.
See, you have more exposure to her because the 5 minutes that we have
I
exposure
agree.
to her
There's also going to be a series coming out.
It's not impressive
but
enough.
I'm telling
I
you,
agree.
this is a great character who builds on the Tony Stark legacy in a really, really good way, and I think and I think she'd be a great addition to the team. I also think it's important to bring some younger people in the team, so it's not a bunch of people in their 40s sitting around talking about their retirement plans.
That's next week's episode, the Young Avengers.
No, so they're not sitting around talking about their retirement plans. But So, anyways,
I would as an alternate, and I don't have her on my list. I would put Suri in that role. Is that her name?
Yeah, it is her name.
She is Black Panther now, but she's super smart, tech heavy. I didn't put her in
tech heavy, but somewhat unwilling to share their tech. I mean, they shared it a little, but they're still not like opened up and sharing it.
Share it as long as they help the team. I think she'd. Again, she's not on my list, but so I go. Right? Wait.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, I had Ant-Man as an alternate. Let's see, where am I going to go with this? Okay, since we're sort of talking about it, I have the Hulk. He's still on the smart. They claim smart Hulk. Now, he's the big brain. We used to have Tony and what's his face and Banner as the big brains. We need somebody with a big brain. Besides the fact that he's got the brawn too now, so he's both. So again,
I picked him for the exact same reasons. I have him
old
on my
school,
list.
but he's the big hammer, and he's also the big brain.
Okay. So you had him also.
I did, yes.
So this is my science pick. Okay, I went with Shuri Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
And it's a bridge to the legacy of Black Panther, but also brilliant kid, can do pretty much anything, and it's totally has that science background that there is a hole there. And like I said, Bruce Banner fills that hole. If you've got him, he just seems very disinterested at this point, and or kind of absorbed with other things. But yes, absolutely. So
I do. I like. Obviously, I said that I like her, but unless you've got somebody else, you need like the big stick.
I still got two. I still got two to go. So.
Okay, I think you need more than one big stick.
My challenge with Shuri is more maybe she would grow personally, but I feel like she wasn't like I don't see her as necessarily a team player.
So
And
she's
I think
lost
that she
her
would
brother
need
at
to
this
see that.
point. She's lost her mother, and she's very conscious of the legacy she's got. And I also think she understands why her brother allied himself with them. And I think as long as the Avengers have like a global versus American kind of initiative, I could totally see her doing that. And I think it would be really beneficial. And like I said, they need someone very forward thinking on the science stuff. So,
I mean, Black Panther didn't necessarily align himself with them until it was a global threat.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying when you bring the Avengers back this time, it's got to be a threat to the planet. It's got to be something big. It's got to. They can't be serving the U.S.'s interest.
Yep.
And we're in a post-Shield
All right.
world, so
Yeah. So it's back to me.
yep.
Okay. Yeah, Dave and I had the same one on the last one. I'm going to go with Spider-Man. I feel like going to what one of you said, we needed some younger people on the team. It can't all be 40 and 50-year-old people. Super smart. While they've turned him into somebody who is reliant on like Stark technology, I feel like he was pretty far down the path on his own before he got the Stark suits. So I feel like confident that he would be okay even without Tony there providing his technology.
I agree.
And he's
with that.
he's got a lot of good skills. So I think he
And he's
rounds out the
super strong.
team. And very
I
strong.
I have him also for the same reasons. I didn't even think about the smarts, but he's definitely got the smarts. He's super strong, super loyal.
Yep.
You're not going to find anyone more loyal than him. But he's experienced too.
Yep. He just got a lot of crap going on right now, and they got to get that sorted out. I think
it still won't stop him.
no,
That's how
it
loyal
won't stop him.
Right.
I at one point considered him for because of his science background, and then it occurred to me that this version of Spider-Man has a high school education. There've been so many versions of Spider-Man that it's easy to confuse them. And so, like I said, it's good having, you got to have a couple of younger people on the team, which I did. And I think that so.
I'm curious, and I don't want to force you into a pick.
Yep.
But to me, there are two, not mentally, but sort of two people who have the same roughly skill set. Who's the other one?
Which skill set?
Sort of more of a Earth-based guy. He's not going into space although he's been space, bitch. You've been into outer space, bitch. Remember? So, but to me, I always think of similar. I think Daredevil has similar sort of
there is. It's
Earth-based skills.
We have to see who this Daredevil is first.
You can't control
This
him.
Daredevil,
From what we know right now.
I think we're seeing this Daredevil is going to get out of Hell's Kitchen a little bit. So we'll see where he goes with that. I think I went a little more powered people than you guys did because I think, or enhanced by tech because I
have two more.
I have two more also. Because I feel like at this point, if you're bringing the Avengers back together, it's got to be a badass threat. It's got to be something that you can't throw arrows or 9mm bullets at and expect it's going to make a big dent in it. So my next one to get back in line with you guys was She-Hulk, and she's my Hulk on the team. I had Bruce Banner as a background thing. I also think having someone with legal experience is not a bad thing on the team. So
we have a team of lawyers.
Yet we've never seen them. But anyways, I think she could be interesting. She thinks differently than the others. And, so.
I don't think she's mentally stable enough whatsoever to count on.
Well, and my rationale for not
That's
picking
fine.
her wasn't the mentally stable thing. I didn't feel like she had enough rage to be... Like, she's strong, but is she really Hulk strong?
I think...
Based on the TV show, because I'm not going based on comics.
Yeah. Based on what we've seen
you
in
saw,
TV shows,
when you saw her working out with Hulk and stuff like that, I think they're fairly parallel strength levels. And I
guess
think
is she?
But does she have the rage that makes Hulk so?
No, but he doesn't either.
To be fair, neither does Smart
historical Hulk versus Smart Hulk. And I'm saying at the point of being his being Smart Hulk, I think they're on a parallel.
But Smart Hulk should be able to tap into that when needed. No,
he should, but can he? I mean, I do think She-Hulk's a bad choice, but he's got the same issue that she does because he's not that guy anymore.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
I don't think he could tap into it.
I also think tactical muscle is not a bad thing. Okay, having strength and being able to think logically and rationally is not necessarily all that bad. So
yeah, and I don't know if you guys did the same. I tried to base my thought process based on purely what we've seen in live action MCU.
Yeah,
movies
exactly.
And TV,
yeah,
and not based on other.
But also
material.
like potential based on what we've seen, and it's so. Yeah. I think I'm gonna put a guess here. I think we all have a heavy hitter left.
Wait. I have
two. Okay,
left.
so what's your other one?
I'm down. Yeah, so Dave has to go, and then we're all on our last pick.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have two. I do have heavy. I mean,
let's do heavy hitter last. I think Bear, do you have a heavy hitter?
Well,
last?
I know I have two. My two are heavy hitters. I'll go, and it's old school, and I do have a lot of old school. I have Thor. As much as he's a mess, and I'm ignoring Love and Thunder. When the chips are down and you need to get him in the right, him in Infinity Wars when he comes in with the freaking Led Zeppelin music, that's the Thor you want, and I think you could get that out. I think Hawkeye can get that out of him. Not everybody, because you got to coddle this guy, and he's got to be sort of mentally checked to and influence, and that's why I think a Hawkeye and a Hulk together could do that. But when he's on top of his game, I don't think there's almost anyone as good as him.
Okay.
That's my deal.
I had him on my list of people I would not consider at all, and I'll tell you why.
Because of Love and Thunder, I agree.
No, not because of that. I came up with four characters or three characters and a group of people that I just feel are concerned with issues that are larger than Earth issues. Yep. They're off in the galaxy doing other things and might not come when we need them. And I was really building my team around Planet Earth and defending Planet Earth.
In all
what do you
movies.
got for your last one, Barry?
My last one, I have White Vision.
Okay.
Because I felt like I needed somebody who had...
I don't know what his deal is at all, though.
Well, I'm assuming he's not. I'm assuming he's going to come back and
Vision rebooted to just pure.
You only know what we've seen on TV,
and that's what I'm saying.
We've seen nothing.
He's had all the he has Vision's power set and abilities, and he's had his personality stripped away.
But I picked him because he's got theoretically more power than anybody else I picked. And could be a really good go-to all-around team member based on the skills that he's had up until this point. I'm assuming he retains all of those abilities. You're right. We don't know.
It's a reasonable assumption based on the powers that he demonstrated. I think he's, like I said, I think he's Vision with a blank slate. And
there were a couple of heavy hitters that I just took off the board based on where I think they are at this point.
So my heavy hitter is Captain Marvel, and my alternate is Thor. I think Thor's too unpredictable. I think he's absolutely, he brings it. There's no question whatsoever.
He needs therapy.
I think both of these
he needs to be controlled.
Both of these are people that you call in an absolute world-threatening, total obliteration emergency. These aren't the people that show up for the weekly meetings where you read the agenda.
That's Spider-Man, and
that's where I'm saying.
That's
so
Bucky,
I think
and that's Hawkeye.
I don't think there's anybody more powerful than Captain Marvel, really. Okay, and I think, like I said, you could face pretty much anything with her on your side. I think Thor also brings a great deal, but I think both of them, like I said, can be. I think having both of them on your speed dial would be a really good thing. So
I don't disagree.
I do have both of them,
and I don't.
That's my last one also.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. Other than that, I felt like Captain America, Thor. Captain Marvel and Thor are just off. Like I was looking for a team that was going to defend the Earth,
right? But I also think that her period of self-exile ended in that last film, and I think you could, if obviously if the actress wants to stay with the role, but I'm saying you could rationalize her staying closer to Earth than she had previously. She's also
want to have a pager.
She also
to
has
page her
more
when I need
time, and more experience than anybody else on this list here. So,
but she's also, there's going to be non-earthly threats. The Spider-Man and Hawkeye and Bucky and they're good for.
And to me, the Avengers are the non-earthly threats are coming to Earth and are becoming a threat to Earth, and that's what we need the Avengers for. She is going to be off in the galaxy dealing with the things that aren't happening here. That was just
when we needed her, we got her, and needed her to defend.
That's why I didn't pick any of the Guardians, because they're not.
But
focused on
I love the
protecting
Guardians, but
Earth.
Ultimately, other than Groot, none of them have anything going on. I love Rocket almost more than most characters. He's a freaking raccoon. What's he gonna do?
He was almost my science guy.
But together they're a great team, but I just don't see them being Earth's protectors.
I have him as the guy who's in charge of garbage on my team.
He's a trash can.
No, I have
He's
Captain
my designated
Marvel.
trash can.
Captain Marvel's the biggest stick. She's still on the board. And even if she's not there, like Todd says, every time, when the global threats come, she's coming. And I have my pagers right.
No, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. I just went a different way. But I totally see it.
I feel like said I want to shoehorn Thor into that role, but I worry about he's got so much other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's in the same universe at least, and he's not even
the other
really
thing
in the
now
same
that
universe.
I did not connect these dots until just now, but my team, for better or for worse, is entirely made up of men. And I do feel like you need some female characters in there.
My team is actually predominantly female. I have 2 men, and if you go with my primaries, I have 2 men and 5 women, and 2 people that are under the age of 25 at least.
So I probably need to swap somebody out just so that at least there's
Barry,
one female character.
It's okay in this day and age.
That's right. That's right.
In a year from now, women aren't going to be allowed out of the house.
That's it. Yeah. In fact, as long as no one's questioning their gender identity, you're fine. So,
but yeah, I do. To me, if I'm looking at my list, the biggest issue is Thor.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
If I didn't have Hulk or Hawkeye, I wouldn't have picked Thor.
Okay.
These guys can sort of mentally help him out.
Yeah, and I could swap out Vision for Captain Marvel, and I would have an equally powerful and capable person on that team. So, and probably more powerful, quite honestly.
We should actually do. Well, there's not. We could do a Young Avengers.
Yeah, but I also think that there's strong potential for that. I'm just going to real quick here. So I have a former student who is a super MCU fan, who's also a Hot Toys collector, and I gave him this potential thing, and he made me a spreadsheet with his explanations of why. I won't read you all this, but I'll send this to you. But he went Sam Wilson, Captain America, Thor, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, Ms. Marvel, Daredevil, Doctor Strange. And I'll send you the spreadsheets. It's very, very good. And he's got powers. Under Thor, he's got God. and
I had Shang-Chi on my list of no's, and my note next to it was, I just don't care enough about it.
But you know what the thing you forget with Shang-Chi is you think, he's martial artist, but he's got those rings now.
He's got those rings.
And he actually is a heavy hitter by virtue of that. I just couldn't figure out where to work him in there. But his comment.
But that's one of the 3 Marvel movies I've never gone back and rewatched.
His comment for Doctor Strange is takes over the Stark sass. Yeah. But anyways,
Okay.
I feel like I have the oldest lineup,
yeah, and that's
which is fine, but
Mine's not far behind yours.
they're still on the board, so why not? All right. I think that was a fun exercise.
Yeah.
Todd, did you?
So
have
I was
something else you
saying,
needed to say?
I had said before that that I think you need to develop the new characters, and I think the next thing that's got to happen is you've got to bring a couple of characters together, younger characters, and then build on that. And I think if you try to do a Young Avengers thing, it's just going to feel very forced. But I think if you start by pairing up 2 natural characters like Kate Bishop and Black Widow, and then you build a basically partnership there, you could then.
When you say Black Widow, you mean Yelena?
Yeah, and I think that they would be awesome together. And then from there, then you've got a thing you can build on, and then you add Ms. Marvel, and then maybe you add Stature, and then maybe you move down the line that way. And like I said, but I think they've got to get going on that track. So
I agree with that for sure.
They've got to do something.
and forcing it,
sure.
like I said, grabbing 6 people and suddenly putting them together is just going to be awkward. So they need to build it the way they built the team originally. So.
Yeah.
I totally think that. Yeah.
Which, it's funny because I'm really looking forward to Thunderbolts, and I know that while that grouping of characters may be fun for a movie, it's not the team.
Oh yeah, but that's the great thing about it though. It's like it's a bunch of misfits thrown together, but you can do that once. You
Right.
can't keep doing that. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. It'll be interesting a year from now to revisit this and see where we are at once we've gotten the rest of the movies and stuff that's coming out this year.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, they're gonna shoehorn the Fantastic Four into the Avengers or something like that. Who the hell knows?
Well, we've talked about it, but I'm assuming by the end of that movie, they're in our universe, which puts them on the board.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, that was fun. If you have a list, let us know. I'd like to hear it. Everyone submit their list.
Yeah, everybody can send us their lists.
And send you something. Daredevil premiere. I'm not trying to force your hand, but I'm shocked Todd didn't say anything.
I'm doing my
about
best.
It,
Okay, I am doing.
No one else is.
Dave, have you
yet.
watched it yet, Dave?
Okay.
No, I haven't watched it yet either.
So I'm going to say this. Okay.
Oh, I shouldn't. I walked
You totally
into
walked
this.
into
totally
this.
did.
Okay. I like it a lot, but
Ooh.
I watched in the last 3 weeks. I've watched the entire original Daredevil series, and do yourself a favor and go back and rewatch the original Daredevil series. It is. We will talk about Daredevil when we get to Daredevil Born Again. We get to it, but I'll tell you, I've only seen individual episodes since Daredevil aired. I didn't watch it all the way through. If you like that series, you owe it to yourself to sit down and just work your way through those original 36 episodes or 39 episodes. At its lowest, it's much better than a lot of things that we've seen in the last few years. And that show really is terrific. So
I found a 15-minute YouTube video that recaps the whole 3 seasons because Maria's never seen any of it, and she wants to watch the show with me, so I'm going to have to sit her down.
Neither is Pam. Maybe
and show her. I'll send you a link to it,
that.
Dave.
Yeah. I think I saw it, but I don't know which one. It was good.
Yeah. I haven't watched it
Was
yet,
it-
so I'll let you know
just,
after I watch it.
like I said, finished it.
Oh, you haven't watched the? No, you haven't watched. The
I found it,
15-minute
but
thing?
I bookmarked it on YouTube. I haven't watched
Is
it
it
yet.
someone we know? Like some people did good jobs
I'd have to
with
go
that.
back and look. I don't remember, but
Yeah, I did the 39-hour version of that, and
yeah. I don't think if I force that on Maria, she's not going to want to watch the rest of it.
I am really glad I did. It was stalled by partway through watching the second season of Punisher, which I had never watched, and now I can say I did. But some of that Netflix run was very poor, but some of it was extremely good. And like I said, overall, those 3 seasons hold up very, very well. I think the other thing, is like Jessica Jones was great. First season of Luke Cage was good. There's nothing else worth watching. So, yeah.
Sure. Okay, so next time, Daredevil. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.